As I have talked about chapters in your life, every chapter is a new experience, new learning curve, knowledge, but eventually you get to go to the next chapter. Some things you do in chapter 1, you don't do in chapter 2, 3 and 4 and so on. And it's the same thing in life that it's like for myself, I played golf with my father and some of the men at the church. I enjoyed every swing that was done that day among of all of us. Some went in the woods, including myself. Some went in the water. Some went into the sand trap. Now, I did get some good shots out of the sand trap and laid it on the green pretty well. And I had some to go in the woods that I didn't have a chance, and you know what, to find it. But at the end of the day, we couldn't stop talking about how enjoyment it was just to walk in. We didn't take a cart. We walked because we had bags that actually had wheels on it, so we didn't actually physically have to carry them. And it made things so much easier and more enjoyable. I tried to play golf with 3 other people since I went play golf with my father and the men of the church. I just didn't enjoy it as much. It wasn't the same. I mean, I liked it, but I wouldn't jump to it out of the blue and say, "Yeah, I go." But if my father asked, or the guys at the church say, "Hey, we want to get all together and go play a round of golf this weekend," I'll be the first one there. I'll bring the coffee. It just wasn't the same with friends playing golf. And the same thing goes for fishing. My brothers and I and my father get in the aluminum boats with the Johnson 25 horsepower outboard on the back. Go duck hunting, go fishing, clamming, oystering, the wire basket, you put oysters in it and twist it back and forth while it's in the water and wash them off real well. With the hip boots on, walking through the marsh and foot gets stuck every now and then in the mud. It was enjoyment years that I would not trade for anything. If they ever build a timing machine, I would go back so I can do all that over again. I wouldn't try to go back and change anything because my life, I enjoyed every bit of it. It has its flaws because we all human. We're not perfect. But I would go and play golf and fish, duck hunting, clamming, oystering. The big fish fries we had at the church, my daddy pretty much was the one that went and took the boat and with the net, dropped it out, filled it with fish, and brought it back, and cut them up, scale them. Years that you can't get back. And so many people I've seen that are young and they don't take the time and enjoy family time with their parents. When they get older, they're going to regret it. I wish I spent more time after they passed. I wish I did this. I wish I did that. There are some things that I'm planning on doing that will kind of take me back in time of good old memories when all of the siblings were still living at home. All my brothers and one sister. We used to go camping. We hook up the camper. Usually it's a station wagon. Even I remember the old station wagon that the back door swung open like this and the back seat was actually facing backwards towards the back. So everybody else get to see where we're going, and us boys, who the ones that sitting in the back, get to see where we've been. But we pack up that camper, we air it out like the weekend before, pop it up, air it out, clean it up, clean the coolers and everything, wash up clothes and all, and bag them up and put them in there. And then the next weekend, we all crawl in and head off to Myrtle Beach. We went to Myrtle Beach 1 to 5 times a summer. The same place. I think there's maybe a maybe a handful of times that we didn't actually go to the same campsite in Myrtle Beach, which is the KOA, which at that time it was the only one, and as far as I know, it still is the only KOA. But we went 1 to 5 times a summer. And it's not but an hour and a half drive, but there with the family, cooking breakfast early in the mornings. And right when you exit the campground, you walk across the street, and there was one humongous miniature golf course. And the hill they had was, it had to be, I would say, probably good 8, 10 stories high, at least. And I remember one time that my youngest brother, the one that is younger than I, that we bet on the last hole. Whoever makes a hole in one buys the other a hot dog. That hot dog was good. I almost didn't make it. And it was the first time I ever made a hole in one on that number 18. Usually it's 2 or 3. I mean, it's a straight shot, but that thing had to be 30 feet. Straight shot. So if you didn't hit it directly straight, and the back of it was not a solid straight wall, it kind of pebbled a little bit like a little rainbow. So you had to hit it directly or hit it a little to the right or a little to the left, and hopefully it bounces back to the hole. But that was the first time I ever made a hole in one, and I didn't have to bounce off. It went directly. It's almost like you had gutter from where I teed off to the hole, straight shot. I wanted that hot dog. That is something that I'm going to get back doing. I haven't done much since I no longer lived at my parents' camping. Now, I've been, on trips and stayed in a motel and stuff, but I got a tent, canopy, and chairs and all, so I can go to like KOA and pop up a tent and spend maybe a weekend. It's only an hour and a half drive. And there's other places I've looked online so you can get your tent put up, and it's around like a lake. Is no like concrete or anything like that. It's pretty much the only thing they have out there is like water and a trash can. And it's a little walk back to the little clubhouse they have that has showers and a restroom. But they got a fire pit, and you put up your tent, and you're right next to the water. I mean, I would say from what I saw on some of them sites, from where you have your fire pit to the edge of the water, it can't be no more than 20 feet. And it's not like it's next to somebody else. There's a good something like 100 feet or so, if not further, before the next place you get your put your tent up. And they got two or three spots out there. There's like 50 yards before you got your next door neighbor. You're really out there in the middle of the woods. It's like a little drive trail dirt road that you get to it, then it opens up a little place. You pop up your tent and all, and I want to be able to do that. Things that I kind of miss of doing. It's nice to go on trips in a motel, but being out in the woods, in the nature, and cooking on a fire pit and stuff, in a chair, drinking coffee, listen to a nice little radio, which I've brought one of them too. I got it somewhere around in here that's got shortwave radio and everything, so there's no telling what I can actually pick up. It's a nice little radio, and it's actually got a rechargeable battery in it, so I don't have to worry about buying batteries for it. You just plugs in the USB-C. Yeah, it's just, and sitting by a fire. I mean, I got a fire pit that sits above ground in the RV that I brought, and it's probably been almost a year now. I brought it beginning of last winter, so it's coming up on being 1 year, and the only thing I've done to it is assemble it and been throwing paper in it of envelopes of advertisement in it so I can have something to start the fire with. And it's got so much in it, the lid, the mesh lid dome will not completely sit down on it because there's so much paper in it. It's time to use it. You have to realize how precious life is, because your wants and your needs change over time. Things happen that you have no control over happen that changes the course of your life. It's just like my life, my freedom was taken away for 512 days because I couldn't come and go as I wanted to. Not because I did something wrong. It's because somebody else said I did. And the ones that held me there was not willing to listen to actually what the facts were. And I said, well, I'll sit here as long as it takes to get them to come around and figure out what it was. And then when I walk out the door, I look at them, I told you so. And that's exactly what I did. But some people are wanting something so bad they overlook the evidence and facts. They wanted to put a notch in their belt. They're more concerned about that than actually justice. But after time went by, their case they thought they had started fading away like real thin plastic laid out in the sun for the summer. It starts to get brittle, and then after a while, the wind just kind of takes it away. And when it does, then there's nothing else they can do except say bye. Remember the days in high school? They had a thing in there called the student union. It was like a upper class cafeteria They still had a lunch line. You go get your food and stuff, but they had stuff there that you couldn't get in the cafeteria, like the big old honey buns, and stuff. It's more freely open to just, it's almost like a buffet. You just go get what you want and pay for whatever you want. And they had them square tables and them plastic chairs. God, that was not comfortable. But you hang out with your friends and stuff. And I noticed over there in the very back, there was a big old window pane. Said Wild Radio. The very first year I was there at New Hanover High School. I didn't pay much attention to it. But the second year, I got up with the soccer coach and asked him, I said, what is that? Because I knew he's been there for a while. He said, oh, it used to be people back there playing music while, during the lunchtime. I said, why isn't there anybody there now? He said, nobody really took over. He said, it's been like 3 years. Nobody really took over. I said, where's all the equipment? He said, it's back there, and I don't know if it still works. I said, do you mind if I go back there and look through it, see if I can put something together and test it out? And he says, meet me after school today if you can. I said, well, I got to catch the bus. He said, he says, do you have any study hall or anything like that? Any classes that you can pretty much be okay to get out of? I said, I got gym with the football coach. He said, well, I'll talk to him. He said, what period is that? I said, the third period. And he got up with me. He found out where I was going to be in the weight room and all. And he was there already when I got there. He said, hey, let's go check out that and see if we can get that going. He said, it would be nice to have music playing again. We went over there, and I had that thing playing before that period was actually over. And when I went there in lunch, I went and got me lunch, went in there and throwed in, I had a double-deck cassette player. And I made some cassettes. I think it was 60-minute tapes I think I used. So it's 30 minutes per side, and that's pretty much what lunch was by the time I got there, about 30 minutes left. So I made them tapes at the house. And people request certain songs or whatever. I said, well, I can do that on Thursday or Friday or whatever. And I'll put that certain song on that tape. And I had 5 tapes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And people really enjoyed it. And that place started getting really packed. A lot more people started coming in because there was music and interaction with all the people. I mean, it was seniors and sophomores. It was all. And before, let's see, I did that in the 11th grade and the 12th grade. During the 12th grade, I can't remember who suggested it, but we started having, over to the side of it, table tennis tournaments during lunch. Had at least try to have 5 knockoffs, 5 games, because it didn't really have that much. And then we pick up the very next day and see who wins at the end of the week. Or we play the whole month. Say, okay, 2 people play, and a winner plays another person, and whoever wins that, next person comes up, and it just keeps going, and see who stands last on Friday when their lunchtime is over. And we figured out a way to get some kind of prizes, some books, composition books or pencils or, something to help them in school. And it really took off. Through all the winter time, nobody wanted to be outside because it was cold. It really took off. I don't know if that continued or not, but I know that them coaches are no longer there, so I don't know. But it was enjoyable. That's something that I'll never forget. Things that I have wanted to do, that I have set out that in my life that I wanted to do, and put things in place so I could. Like everywhere we went, when we went on vacation, when we all still living at home, it was pretty much Georgia because we had one of my mother's sisters that lived there. I do believe that would be my aunt. And then we went to Myrtle Beach. I think we hit Tennessee, Virginia, I do believe. We really didn't go far from home. Maybe over to the next state in all directions, north, south, and west. And we never went much further than that. We went up to Smoky Mountain. What is it? Blue Ridge Parkway. We traveled on it through the tunnels and all. But we really never went that far. And I was determined after I moved out and got married and all to travel a lot further than I've ever traveled. And when I got that opportunity, after I put things in place, I took and drove all the way to Arizona. Now, of course, the internet wisp helped me to get there because not financially, but got me to be interested in watching other people doing the same thing. So it just gave me an excuse to go see somebody that's doing the same thing that I've been watching their videos, which I haven't seen any of his videos in a long time. He hadn't made one for a while. And then I went to Kentucky, some other places for WISP. I've been to Florida. I've been to New Mexico and all them places. Let's see, Louisiana, all them southern states. I didn't take I-40. I can take an I-40, went straight over to I-40, right dead in the middle, pretty much in the middle of the United States, and then go south when I got to the end. But I didn't want to do that. I think it was Highway 10 that I took. Went through Georgia, then I went to Louisiana, Texas, go right on through there. We stayed in each one. And I want to do it again. Not them places, but the states that I haven't been to. I'm still planning on hitting all 50 states. I still got a few people I want to go see. Like one of the Heat and Air guys up north, Steve Lavinier. I still want to go see him. But I can't go now because it's going to start getting cold up there. And I don't want to be up there when it's snowing and everything else. I just don't like getting in that kind of weather. So I'm going to have to do it during the summer. And I have to take my own advice on certain things, like tell people no. Like all of June, I'm not going to do any installs. Something that will give me adequate enough time to be able to travel to different states. If I have to take like since it took me only like 3 or 4 days to drive all the way to Arizona, I think I left like early Wednesday morning. I think I got there Saturday afternoon, I think it was. So that's like 4 days. I mean, I was driving 400 plus miles a day. I mean, I had all the bells and whistles on the vehicle. I was getting over 40 miles to the gallon because I was drafting behind 18 wheelers and stuff, so I can drive further before I actually have to stop and get gas. I think I got the maximum on a tank of gas was 430 some miles on a tank of gas. And some of them days we got up in the morning and rolled out 7:30 before 8 o'clock, somewhere between 7 and 8. Went up there 6 o'clock and got me some breakfast before everybody got up. Came back, eat breakfast, uploaded a video, and then told them to get up, and we left before 8 o'clock and checked out. And I went and filled up with gas, drove 400 miles. We stopped, stretched our legs, filled up the gas, and drove another 400. It was dark, 7, 8 o'clock before we stopped at our next location. Still looking to see if the Wisp hobby will sell, if somebody wants to grab a hold of it to take over. I'm not telling anybody about it anymore. I've had a few people that asked, but I never hear back from them, which is normal because I hadn't heard back from pretty much any of them. Some of them will talk to me about it for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's like, nope, I don't hear nothing else about it from them. I have decided to change something else, my wants and my needs. Something that normally I don't do, but I've decided to change it. And that is stop talking myself out of spending money to really enjoy life, because you only got one life to live. I will save a penny. I mean, I'm the kind, I'm walking through a parking lot, I see a penny, I'm picking it up. I don't care if it's on the heads, tails, sideways, scratched up, whatever. I'm picking it up. I'm just a saver hog, if you want to put it bluntly. But I want to take some of that I've done for decades now and actually exploit a little bit and enjoy life. Now, of course, I got to put some other things in order. Like my daughter needs to find another babysitter because I'm back helping on babysitting. I'm getting the grandson actually on the bus in the mornings while she's at work. I go pick her up, take her to work by 7, and then I go back to the RV with the grandson and sit there and mess around on the computer, check out some things on the RV. And then about 7:30, him and I get back in a car and go to the bus stop because they have it scheduled 7:44, which 7:45 is when the bus is supposed to be there. But usually it don't show up until about 8 o'clock. But I get him on the bus every morning now, Monday through Friday. I finally got her, my daughter, to get her schedule changed around where she works only Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday off. That way I can be at the RV every day during the week and then come back here in the studio for Saturday and Sunday. Leave Friday night so I can make the videos for the week, so I can actually broadcast live on Sunday nights on my other channel. Put things in order so I'll be where I need to be to get things done. It's like I need to broadcast live now. So I'm going to pause this, broadcast live on Zeno, and then I'll be back to finish this video because I've been not feeling too well. I feel kind of achy right now. That feverish, like it's a chill in the room and you kind of shake it, shiver every now and then if any little breeze or whatever. So I turned the ceiling fan off. That helped a little bit. Let it kind of warm up in here. Turn the air conditioning up a little bit so it won't run so much. You just have to adapt to what's going on and get things done. So I'm going to pause this and then I'm going to broadcast live and then I'll come back and finish this video. So I'll be back. Have me some coffee. Life is way too short to go screwing around and make it miserable and not able to enjoy the time that you are here. keep doing the foolish things that keeps holding you back, you're getting nowhere. Nobody's going to be able to help you, don't matter what they say, don't matter who they may be, unless you're willing to change. So consider getting my book. It's a great read. It shows how life can change at any moment when you're even doing everything you're supposed to. It's not about the hiccups, the speed bumps, the curves, the winding roads, the detours, the unexpected. That's not what life is about. When life throws a monkey wrench in the middle of your life, your plans, it's not what was thrown in your way. It's how you plan on getting back on track where you were before all the chaos got in your way. It's just like in my book, I have my plans for my life of when I'm going to retire and everything, kids I'm going to have and everything, travel and all. And then out of the blue, chaos. I wasn't worrying about what they were saying because I knew what the truth was. I knew I was going to come out the other end smelling like roses, they say. It just, I didn't know how long. But I started putting things in place and being patient to be ready when I walk out them doors and get back on track where I should have been all that time. It's not the bad things that happen in your life. It's how you get around them and how to fix them and how to maneuver and move on back where you should have been. But if you're not willing to stop doing the BS you do in your life, that you're causing your own chaos, you will never see the other end of the tunnel. Ever. You're stuck in that chapter and you'll never get to the next chapter. Don't matter what. If you want to get to the next chapter, it's up to you to make that happen, not anybody else. Don't reach out for anybody else to help you unless you're willing to help yourself.